Hi everybody, it's me Ed, Fast Track Video. This is July 19th, 2019, and we will also do a July 20th on this video as well. I just want to go over some of the things that I did to prep this whole doubleheader weekend, and unless the project is really complicated, I may do more doubleheader weekends. And this is the second one I've done. I did one on the 12th, which I will have to get that video up as well, but I'm doing this one here. This one's of a tri-tip, which you can see on my cutting board right here. I am going to be using that tri-tip for two things. It came from Stater Brothers, already marinated and rubbed, so or sauteed, I don't know how you want to call it. Anyways, I'm looking for a pound of meat for Sunday's portobello cheeseburger, and we'll go over that later on. But for the moment right now, the remaining piece of meat is going to be smoked. And I like Harry Sue and his message on smoking tri-tip to see if it compares to that of a brisket. So I wanted to try that out too. But I'm not going to do a long cook on the grill with the tri-tip and with the short ribs. So I'm going to be doing a 5-hour smoke. So we will start smoking about 4:45. We got this thing done about 9:30 at the same evening. So looking at this here, I'm just basically investigating, getting this thing set aside. And now I will start working with the short ribs. Oh. As you can see here, I'm prepping the meat here. There was a lot of fat, and the thing with the short ribs is it does consist of an awful lot of fat. As I started to work with this one and completing it for the smoke, I noticed that I had way too much fat on this thing, and I don't know, I did enjoy the short ribs an awful lot, but gotta always keep in mind this is a fatty kind of piece of meat. So as you can see, I'm trying to trim it all out, and then I'm trying to get rid of any of the silver stuff, from this meat. So anyways, let's move on forward here. Now I'm starting to select the type of rub I'm going to use. I'm using something that I've already used, either from a brisket or a prior cook on one of the weekends. I just want to clear up some of my rubs that I've made and just try to implement it into something like this weekend. In this case with the short ribs, and the tri-tip's already been kind of rubbed and marinated, so there isn't much to worry about that. So I'm generously going to put it all over the place on these meats. These have been cut in half, as well as cut by the slab. There are the slab, that's the whole length of a short rib, but I just basically cut along the bone to get all this in place. So let's move forward from the rub here and into something more exciting. I hope everybody doesn't mind me narrating my videos now. I'm beginning to see that it's more necessary to do it this way than for me to talk while I'm videoing, because it just consumes a lot of time. I want to not consume your time in terms of cooking. So here I've already prepped the grill here with charcoal. You can see it's all on one side by the damper, and I've added a couple chunks. I've noticed, this is probably adequate amount of charcoal and chunks that it definitely lasts me consistently probably over 6 hours. So, that case, I'm just pointing my finger on the BT L 4-burner blaze that I will be using the portobello cheeseburgers on Sunday. But I'm starting to light up with the Dragon chimney, and it has this little hole that I can put my blower in. And like I said, I really highly recommend this tool, and I recommend the blower a lot, because if you need the blower to keep fire burning like I do on the Kamado, this thing really does the job. It serves two purposes, not just one. It serves the purpose of starting the fire, and when I'm getting my temps try to be stable, it's just to set the fire on the Kamado. So it really serves its purpose in terms of getting something done correctly and efficiently. So, and that's my workflow. I mean, my workflow is to make things simple and easy. So if it becomes complicated, then I have a problem with doing things that consume a long time, and I never get things done properly. So this is after about 10 minutes. You know, the chimney is heated up. I've taken, those are my spices there. They seem to like that area a lot outdoors. And I take some of the spices and drop water in. This is my drip pan, and I will put, you know, this water, believe it or not, you know, just with what that is, it stayed and maintained it for 5 hours. It lost some water, but it didn't dry up that pan. And I use a heat deflector, so I'm going to start pouring this charcoal that's already heated right into that one side where I control the damper. And I do that with this Kamado all the time, because that damper and this is the only place I have control of the fire for 5 hours. So now, as you can see, I also put the other grate and the deflector in place. I was about to start to put it in with one hand, my hand to go right into the grill, but I couldn't, so I had to turn off the camera and put it in as it is. The next step, then I get the last grate, which is where I put the meat in. And as you can see, things are heating up in there, looking nice and good. And I'm going to start to move forward with this grilling here. And there's the other grate. And I use this bowl, you know, grate handle holder. I don't know any store that sells it. I got it from some other unusual name store. It was well worth the price and purchase, because as you can see here, I can take a grate. It can be severely hot where I can't even touch it, and I can just pick it up and move it like I did there. So we're going to close the lid, and then we're going to set the times, come back in about 45 minutes here and see what we do with this, getting the meat on the grill. Once again, just to let everybody know here, I do not use probes. I only work with the temperature that is on. See, there's the other grate there. I usually, you know, rule with the Kamado blaze is to put the charcoals on that, but I don't. I put them right at near the damper system, because it's the only way I can control the fire. Having that on the grate does not work. So anyways, we're going to get the meat up in here. We're going to get things going here. Just want to draw one more attention here. This is the first time I'm using charcoal as opposed to lump charcoal wood. This was a challenge for me, because I kind of got the impression when I first started working with this that the charcoals were hotter than the lump wood charcoal, as some people have stated to me from videos. But that's not the case with this. And so what I've learned from working with the dampers, the bottom and the top, and working with charcoal, is you got to give it time to set that heat. I probably should have just kept the lid open and just let it cook for 15 minutes just to get the charcoals nice and toasty. So in essence, I learned a lot from using charcoal, and it is something to work with in the future, and I find it no problem. So now I'm able to continue with getting the meat inside the grill right here. And I'm trying to do this with the camera, so but it's nicely just trying to get it off of the pan that I've already sauteed or run the rub on. Just try to get these things in. And what I had to do is I'm doing it bone down so that I try to keep all the flavoring from the smoking on the meat and not the meat hitting the grill and burning the meat. So that's what, in the end process, it left it very tender. So I'm just trying to get this all set up here. There's the tri-tip, and I will sort all this stuff out and move forward here. This is Southern California weather here on the July 19th. There's why I keep my spices over there. They like that shade a lot, and they grow a lot in that shade. Smoker is smoking away over here and keeping its temp in order. I just want to let everybody know that, this is what it is. I enjoy doing this, and I hope everybody can learn something from my own mistakes and some of the things that I've picked up over other people's talents through YouTube. Well, it's around 6:45. We're at a steady pace here. It went down a little bit from 240 to 225 now. I'm not going to open up the grill, but I'm going to end up using the blower from BBQ Dragon to add some little cooking going on in here. So I don't want this thing to burn out. We got a couple more hours to do. I haven't opened this grill up. Don't have any intentions on it. The smell is pretty good. So did you smell that? So I'm gonna sign off for the moment. Okay, so here we have it. It's 4.5 hours, more than 4.5 hours. I'm gonna go outside. I just pulled out a short rib to my wifey, and it looks like it's ready. I mean, this is the part where I'm not too sure in terms of meat how that's being done. So we're gonna, right now it's a steady 250. So I'm gonna, turn this on. And get it over here. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm probably gonna just pull one of these out. See. 159, probably 160, 156. See, that one's, 151, 157, 165. So some of these are just, dialed in pretty good here. This not brisket, it looks like a brisket. Got 161 there, 160. So I'm going to take one of these out. I'll still cook the others. They could stay in there a little bit and keep the thing going. So that's an awfully big brisket. See? And I'm going to get a knife and cut it inside. So, and here we have the tri-tip, which is interesting. It's got a little ring. No, not as much as the other one, the short ribs, but it's a whole slab of meat there for tri-tip. And I haven't tried it yet, so I'm going to cut a piece here. Let me put on hold. Okay, I'm going to grab that one piece there. I think I ate something that was like fat. Let me try this one here. This one's pretty good. Looks like it's got a ring too.